Hello and welcome to this review commentary for Rugby League Live 3. Joining me is, in the commentary box, is Nathan Lawrence.
Hello and good to be back again.
Good to be back.
Yes, especially after the last rugby-related review.
I didn't think you'd be back.
That's it. I'm not touching a rugby game again. I've retired. No, I've come out of retirement to play some Rugby League Live 3.
Uh-huh.
Bit of a mouthful, isn't it? I just wanted to start, if it's okay, with a PSA. For anyone starting this or returning to this game, the best place to train is actually in this help menu right here, which will pop up help icons on the side.
Yep.
And it actually has a bit of a tutorial breakdown for every part of the game, which you don't really get anywhere else in the game.
Yeah,
So
I noted you wrote in the review, and this is what I started in sort of doing the drills.
Yeah, that's where I started as well.
Yeah, the sort of slow-mo stuff in the drills teaches you the theory of it, but it doesn't work.
So did you notice that as well? 'Cause
Yeah.
you played a bit, yeah. So when you start the drills and you turn on tutorial mode so you can actually get the prompt of this is what you have to do, it slows it down. And I found, especially in the passing drill, that I couldn't get my timing right because it would speed up back to normal time just before you hit the dummy, meaning that pass just before you hit the dummy to get the extra time was null and void. So I just went into real time, and you need that for the game anyway. So there it is on the side. Just go through all of that, honestly, and you'll be in a much better position to start than the 3 odd hours that I lost trying to figure out why I sucked so much on amateur mode. Which, I don't know, what do you think we should do?
Yeah, pop into a game. We'll hop into a game now, hop into a quick game because I want to see. Because I've only been playing it the past few evenings in Be a Pro mode, so I want to. As you've been playing it for quite a few more days than me, I want to see a full game.
Yes. Okay. So we'll do a State of Origin match. I was not born but bred in Queensland, so I guess technically I have to play as the Maroons. Yes, I know. See, we've got a bit of rivalry already. I don't understand why New South Wales is rated the same as Queensland, but you know, whatever. Let's not nitpick. You'll notice, especially in this screen, especially for anyone who looked at our Rugby World Cup 2015 or Rugby 15, that
we're all very sorry about that, by the way.
These visuals are quite nice. These character models, and with the teams, there's also a fan hub section so people can go through and create, personalized to the wazoo.
Yep,
tattoos.
which is inspired obviously heavily by the Don Bradman Academy, which worked very, very well for that game. I was talking to you the other day, and I totally agree. I think the presentation of this game is quite a big step up from Don Bradman.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair to that game, was a game that they worked on for like 5 years. So
right.
It kind of only stands to reason why that's why the gameplay was so nuanced and awesome.
Yeah.
Visuals probably a little old.
Yeah.
Because they started so long ago.
It was definitely a disclaimer you had to give, though, with Don Bradman was, don't expect it to look super, super beautiful, but mechanically amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, the presentation here is it's way better than I anticipated, particularly a lot of the dressing around the game days and little cutscenes and running out of the tunnel and all that stuff.
Yeah,
is really, really surprising and really nice.
The commentary as well. Where's the... There we go. It's really bad. Okay, so Rookie, if you want to play a game in arcade mode, which I won't show you because it will look ridiculously easy and I'll win 60 points to nothing because it takes care of all of the tricky stuff. Bump it up to amateur and it gets a little bit more challenging, believe it or not, if this is your first time to the Rugby League Live series. Outside of the help menu, by the way, another PSA, this is also the best place to learn the game.
I did know, scrolling through these as I learned quite a bit.
Yeah, and unlike other games, it doesn't just automatically drop you into the game, so you can actually take your time to read them for the first time and press A once it gets to the end of this loading screen. I mean, I'm emphasizing this lack of training point mainly because it really throws you in the deep end. I found it very similar with Don Bradman.
Yeah, true.
Like, you had the nets training, but you didn't really, it didn't really teach you how to get the perfect timing. It just told you when you had it, when you missed it.
Did you choose rain here?
I did.
Ah, nice.
I wanted to put on some
I like
rain.
all this sort of stuff. It's very snazzy.
Yeah, it's very, it's a great touch. And, once it zooms out a bit and there are little moments, the crowd doesn't look that great, but I think these guys look fantastic. The audio, the commentary from, here we go, Gus and Vossi, is particularly on point. And I've played it for hours, and I can still hear them saying different things.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I hate to disagree, but I think the crowd is actually quite good.
All right.
based on sort of how it was in Don Bradman. I think it's improved heaps.
So that's also the thing. For me, I was like, this looks amazing, but I was comparing that in my mind to what I'd just seen in Rugby World Cup 2015.
Yeah.
So this does look incredible compared to that. And, you know, they've got the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right. Totally right. Well, let's jump into...
Get stuck in.
Yeah, and we'll see how well I can do with thinking through the complexities of this, making me look good, and also talking about the game. So see how close I can get to perfection. Oh, it's right on. Look at that. No, it's not actually.
Oh, good job.
Ruined it. All right, so what would you like to... Oh, no. They're going to get through. So what I'm doing here is left trigger jumps to what the game determines to be the best player. Now, becomes a bit of a cheat at times, because if you time it right just when they pass, what I'm about to do, it will tend to, if they're going to do a longer pass, jump it over. So you've got this half second to kind of react to what they're going to do.
Yep. Oh nice. No. Nice.
Oh, look at that. That's the double tap of Y for the last
ditch tackle. That's right.
Tackle. Yep. I personally prefer the... Oh, no. What's happening here? Okay, that's the dynamic shift. No. So what I'm going to have to do here is to use the right stick in conjunction with the left stick for basic movement to try to do some advanced maneuvers to get around these tackles.
Yep. Because
the defensive AI, before you learn some of the loopholes, is actually quite all right. So spotting gaps. I think the biggest challenge early on for anyone is find a camera angle that works for you. I mean, they've got at least half a... Oh, no, he's coughed it up. At least half a dozen. Who knocked that on? Me? They knocked it on?
No, you knocked it on.
I knocked it on.
You're rubbish.
Okay, that's the big tackle.
This is the camera angle that it defaulted to is the one that I stuck with in Be a Pro mode.
Oh,
no.
See, I'm looking really bad already. This is on the second lowest difficulty level. I'm not professing to be amazing at this game, and certainly when I took it online, I was schooled by some clearly better players.
The muddy jerseys are actually a good touch too, and I noted last night when I was playing it again that the players at the end of the game have sweaty jerseys.
Yep.
And it's all,
and the ground will get a bit more messed up the longer that it rains. The rain on that angle we just saw before.
A little squelching water underneath the boots there is a nice touch as well.
Yeah, but I think that certain angles like here, it looks like static.
The rain?
Yeah.
It does.
It doesn't look like it looks great on certain angles and not on others. But the crowd, I think, has gone into a bit of a 2D mode now. Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, I should be watching the game, so it doesn't really matter
Pay attention,
much.
Nate.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not doing my state proud. One of the trickier things is that the camera perspective, again, depending on, and you can control whether it's fixed or whether it spins. So you'll notice that if I get possession again, that it will spin around,
Yep.
which is not too bad. Unlike Rugby World Cup 2015, it doesn't do this matrix 1 second where it actually stops time, so you have a chance to re-aim. It does it really quickly. Oh, I shouldn't have passed that.
Oh, no, that's a gap.
Yeah.
I like how the stamina, I think you mentioned this as well, but the stamina has a far bigger impact than ever before as well.
It does, and not just on your ability to sprint, which is a lot of the time, especially early on, you'll be running. You'll be running a lot. Every time you go to tackle, every time you, like I'm sprinting right now.
Yep.
Oh, and the timing, I mentioned the timing in the review. It has to be spot on, because if you don't hit it just before you're about to get tackled, you'll get flattened. Now you can... Oh, I just sidestepped right into it. Now, sorry, what I was talking about, the right stick before, getting your camera angle right. It's really important because the right stick doesn't change in relation to the camera perspective. So even though you might be on a broadcast angle pushing left to run up the field, he's fended him out of the way. The right stick doesn't change, so it required, for me at least, a little bit of mental rewiring, even though it's consistent. All right, here we go.
Oh,
come
cut
on!
Out. Oh!
No!
That was nice, though. You committed the man, and then you got through.
Yeah. So that's one of the... I mean, that's a returning feature, as I understand, from past games, where you just hold down the pass button, and you tap X, Y, or B to cut out a certain amount of players.
Yeah, no, it is,
And we can go and actually It's a good point to. I want to show me the replay. See how well I can do this. Now let's see if I can do my cheat kick, which is to immediately hold up and press A. Let's see if it works out. It works when you're right in front.
Yeah.
It might not work here, but let's have a look.
Oh no!
No, it hasn't.
Hasn't worked.
No, but it has after touch, which I'm sure you would have seen in the drills as well. Where you can
Tiger Woods style.
You can slightly impact. It doesn't. It's certainly
quite subtle.
Yeah, it's not a wanted moment where you can curve the bullet.
No. By
any stretch of the imagination, which is what I was hoping for, but what you won't get in a simulator, which this clearly is much more than an arcade game.
One of the things I actually quite liked the other night when I was playing it, and like I said before, I don't know if I mentioned in the video, but I'm just playing to be a pro mode, so I'm just playing as one player. And I'm actually playing as a player that I created as myself. Doesn't look like me, obviously, but I like how you can either take control of an existing player or create a new one. Is that I got through and I was held up over the line and I just intuitively mashed the try button, like X.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it turns out, and I think I spotted this in a loading screen, and I'm going to sound like a big idiot if I'm wrong, but that press X is the force the ball down button. So I was kind of held up there, and the tackle was there, and I was mashing the X, and then I just saw my guy just pop his arm out and force the ball down.
See, I didn't know that.
It was awesome.
And from, if memory serves, I did not see that in the help either. So this is, again, one of these little nuanced things. I noticed, on the kind of the detractor side, that there was a discrepancy between what the steel ball button is. One screen said B and one screen said Y, and it's kind of really important for the one-on-one tackles where you kind of see them grappling over the ball, and you're like, I want to feel that I have control over this. Oh, I'm going to mash X. It's doing the mash. Oh, hold up!
Oh, no.
So there you go.
Okay. Oh, Thurston.
Yeah. He was going to say a bad word. He cut himself off. But again, this is the second highest difficulty level, and it really is, once you get past sort of the arcade enjoyment of what I recommended playing the lowest difficulty to get your head around the mechanics, you really want to step this up to this mode as soon as possible, because it requires you to use the right stick, to get an understanding of the right stick, to be able to feel competitive even on, oh my goodness, you've got to time this. Time that well, but
you overcompensated for the wind there, didn't you?
I did. And the thing with the wind is it doesn't just like move at a uniform speed. So if those arrows were moving faster, it would indicate that the wind is blowing, a lot more. You learn that in the drills in the shed. I feel like I need to kind of start touching on some of the problems, because we've touched on some of the good stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
Because this is, what it does really well is to make you, like, a lot of this is edge of the seat. Right now, even while we're recording this, I got excited before. I'm glad Luke was talking, because I wanted to fully focus on getting that try, throwing in the replay system. It does a really good job of doing that, except when you start to pick some of the holes in the game, some control problems, it becomes most noticeable online, especially when you do the get it out to the winger and kind of zigzag tactic. That works, as you can see, way too well. Oh, he's not going to push me out. Oh, he did push me out. Must have been the foot on the line.
Time.
One of the options for playing online is to have...
Yeah. Well, I like that it has a highlights reel. It's a good mark of a sports game that at least is confident that it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah.
When you slow it down in slow motion.
I don't know if you just noticed the physics happening there, and when he hit the corner post, it bent with him as well.
Oh, no, I was looking at you, actually.
Oh, that's a problem. What was I talking about before?
I don't know. You?
Online. So, yes, we're talking about some online problems. What you notice is that the defensive AI seems to be set at a really, really low setting. Now, I tested it to the point where I put my controller down just to see how they react. Now, I don't expect them to make amazing try-saving tackles, but there were times when an opposing human player would run past a clump of my guys, and because he'd hit sidestep, that somehow didn't manifest in him sidestepping as much as it made them stupid. So they just kind of milled there. They'd run backwards for about 5 meters before they'd turn to chase, and I'd be mashing the left trigger to say, oh, please, 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 just pick the closest player, and that would be the point where that system would fall apart a bit. Every other time it seems to be fine, or you don't notice it because you just tap it again.
Okay.
But when you want to have that guy who's right on that dude's tail, who has the most stamina and is the fastest player on your team, and it doesn't happen, it's quite frustrating. Obviously, the lack of hand holding is a problem for newer players. I mean, it is a simulator, so I don't want to go too harsh on that. So that was okay. For the viewers at home, so I don't.
You shouldn't look at me when you're
completely terrible.
Yeah.
That I just hit left stick once to do a sidestep and was like pulled out of it and was holding forward, and he decided to jump over and continue on a straight line, even though I was pushing him up. So that's a little bit of an issue. But I find that a lot of this stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
that was forward. That was forward all day.
It was forward. I was, too sneaky. I know that becomes another problem. For the most part, the players, the default AI, they get back on side really quickly. So it allows you to have sneaky moments like what I tried to do. So in the real game, you would assume that player would have jumped back a step or two, seen the arm was free, and flattened him. And created an opportunity. Now, what I noticed, especially when running down, oh my goodness gracious me, the short side,
that was a big hit, right? Was that,
so that's stick? The clicking in of the right stick. That's my default hit, and on lower difficulty levels, it's...
Oh!
No!
Man, I don't know how accurate this game is, man.
How accurate?
Well, New South Wales seemed like they're about to win this match.
Well, they did it once, didn't they?
I like how the refs are quite well animated too.
And they're on the field, which didn't happen.
They're on the field, and B, that they perform all the right sort of actions depending on the tackle count and all that sort of stuff. That's a nice touch. Oh, look at that.
I will say it becomes a bit problematic depending on your jersey colour. Again, I like to play broadcast long to spot bigger gaps, bigger opportunities, and to be able to track.
And you can see where other... You're talking about maybe like sort of a radar thing or a marker? For the more tighter camera angles?
Yeah, it doesn't have...
Yeah.
The option to... Oh, that should have been flattened. Come on. I timed that to perfection. But clearly not. It doesn't have a radar. So, yeah, you really kind of have to have this understanding of field positions as well and who you might be running into next. Because while this camera angle does not highlight that, this is one of the better camera angles. If things get a bit too hectic out to the sides, you don't know what's happening over there. You don't know how many players you have. And particularly on the blind side, you'll find that wingers will become a little bit nervous of the sideline at a certain distance. So they'll run back around to the right, and you'll go to pass to them thinking that they were there just a moment ago.
Oh, the fullback was up.
Yeah, so they've spotted that. And that's one of the tactics. Oh, I did not ask you to do that. Oh, it's okay, it's bad. Yeah, so there's just like... You find that you're really, really enjoying it on a lower difficulty level, and then you'll go and play online, or you'll play on a harder level, or you'll play pro mode. And I found that it just was highlighting a lot of flaws that... Oh, that was beautiful. that shouldn't be there, especially in a simulated experience where you want to feel like you have the ultimate control. And things were kind of falling apart a little bit, which was disappointing. Because those first few hours, apart from the learning curve, were intense. All right, here we go. So double tap bumpers to go to the playmaker.
Yep.
Kick across the field. Chase it, boys. Who's on side? Nobody.
Well, you do get those little yellow markers underneath the player, which I think is really handy. Particularly, I've been finding it quite handy with Be a Pro mode to make sure you always get back on 10. I mean, I'm basically playing as fullback, so I should be back anyway. But whenever you're up, or you in effect a tackle, and you can make sure that you're square.
Yeah.
It's a nice little touch. Come on. Come on. Oh.
Oh, he's fended off backwards. So I was, again, in that instance, I was holding the fend button, which is stuck to D-pad. No, not D-pad. Joystick, right joystick up. But he kind of fended backwards. So for me, intuitively, what I would think is that fend would have to change based on where the player is that I'm trying to fend off. And it's, again, more noticeable when you switch to camera modes and that stick doesn't shift with you.
No!
Oh, no!
Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
Now, what I should have done in that instance, and this is one of the cooler features as part of the simulated package, is I should have, well, it wouldn't have helped because that guy's way bigger than my player. But if you've got a weight advantage, you can actually hold the right stick in a tackle, whether you're attacking or defending, to use that weight to push them back or push them over a sideline or push away from a sideline.
Gotcha.
Boom. I just love the flatten button. Just doesn't look fantastic.
It's certainly the ball and all tackle, which is a B.
Yeah, that's the one they kind of advise the most.
Kind of wraps them up.
And if you do that sprinting, though, you have a chance of a high tackle, but somehow the big hit doesn't seem to have a chance of a high tackle, which I love. I also particularly love how much of a joke the scrums are, you know, like in real league.
Well, they kind of just go through the motions, right? It's just It's
to tie up a certain amount of players.
Taking X number of players out of the game.
See if I can charge down.
Oh. Offside.
Yep, and I've called it. Unlike Rugby World Cup, I was too keen. What you're not seeing as well is even though I'm controlling a certain player, he will automatically run back behind the line if I'm not overriding that command by holding forward. Which is really, really handy that you don't have to worry about these unintentional sort of moments where you're offside.
Yeah, you need I totally think it's fair for the game to just take that in its own hand. Take that in its own hands.
Yeah, totally.
And just put your back in. This is where you need to be.
I did notice that it wasn't working as well for me in career mode.
Career mode? Right.
Yeah, like it would work sometimes. Sometimes you'd automatically run over there. Other times there was an arrow to indicate what had to happen. And then other times again it just wouldn't. Oh my goodness, they are running me ragged. Come on, boys.
I don't play a lot of, when I say I don't play a lot of FIFA, I virtually play no FIFA because I don't like soccer. But I have dabbled with
I went for an intercept. You
with
saw
the
it.
be a pro mode in that. And what I like is I think the cues that they've taken from that with those arrows to tell you where your player ought to be. Because I'm playing through as a fullback, so I'm just kind of like sitting back, watching the game unfold. And if you're getting this game for the first time and you want to try something really different, I actually would recommend that. Because it's a really interesting way to play a sports game, particularly like this. Because you're just sort of watching it unfold and just like sliding side, sliding right, sliding left. And it's actually quite a good animation for that too. And then you're just like, oh shit, someone's broken through, try to make that tackle. Or just to sort of insert yourself into the game every now and then where you want to make a run. It's an interesting way to play, so I'd recommend checking that out.
That's a Be a Pro.
In the Be Pro mode.
Yeah. I'd say my problem with when I tried out Be a Pro mode was that not only did it highlight the problems of the bad AI, I just felt like in a game where you want kind of control and, in this sense, control over a whole team, you want to feel like if someone gets a try, it's because they got a try because you made a mistake. Yeah. Not because they broke through the AI because it was determined that had to happen. And it also, what it found that I was doing, because I wanted to maintain that control, was I would be running out of position to try to be part of the tackle, to try to be part of the play. And I didn't feel like I was playing part of the team. Now, I know that's not what I was supposed to be doing, but I sort of found, like, as someone coming in, that I'm like, I don't actually like that I might register a loss here and have never had an opportunity to make a play, because, I get the ball and I'd pass it. I wouldn't just be like, I'm going to be the hero who runs every time he gets the ball, regardless of what's happening. Oh, that's shocking.
I was just calling for the ball all the time. I was just like, just pass it to me. Pass it to me.
Yeah, even on the other side of the field.
Yeah. Nate, what is this? We're already establishing that this game is clearly broken. New South Wales has won.
Yes, that's turned out to be quite serendipitous.
I say that as a Sydney sider. But yeah, give me your verdict. What's the verdict?
I gave it a 6.5 in terms of the score, and I think the kind of the biggest problems that I had was you can have an amazing arcade experience on the lowest difficulty, and that's fine. But when you go searching for that kind of depth, and unlike Don Brabham, I should say, cricket, where we're tight, me and him. Unlike that game where you felt like you had a lot of control over the mechanics and something slightly mistimed resulted in a nick, and you were like, you know what, I deserve that. I can see that I mistimed that. I deserve to nick that. In this one, I feel that a lot of the control is kind of taken away from you at times in moments where it shouldn't be, whether it's the left trigger doesn't jump to the player who is most obviously closest to the ball or the person running with the ball, whether it's defenders kind of running backwards, which I noticed in career mode especially, when you would hold backwards, they would run backwards a long way before they'd actually turn around to sprint. Okay. Just little things like that, like a lot of little things, plus, the problems of the prevalence of the tactic of being able to pass it to your fastest player and run zigzag up the sideline, and basically, if you know how to do a basic dodge or fend, you'll win online at this stage. So just too many of those moments that really held it back for me from being this amazing, engrossing experience that I went in and I was really, really positive, but the more I started to see behind that curtain and going, oh, okay, that's actually destroying the engagement of being, having control over a simulated experience.
Gotcha.
That's where I started to go, oh, okay, I can't rate it as high. I'm sorry, guys.
But as we chatted, I think before we recorded, certainly the best rugby experience to date.
And that is the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you are saying, okay, there's now 3 rugby games out on new gen and last gen in recent year, not even years, in recent year, which one do I play? Well, hands down this. And again, you've got to understand that even if you're a rugby union fan, and
which
I am a rugby union
as a
fan,
union aficionado, you saying this is by far and away the best rugby experience you can find today.
Yeah. If you want a rugby experience, this is certainly not, supremely disappointing in the ways that the Rugby 15 or Rugby World Cup 2015 games were. Just go read my reviews if you want evidence of that and watch the videos too. This looks better, this plays better, this gives you more control. In a league game, which I think is unfairly criticised for being a bit simplified sometimes compared to Union, this has the depth that Rugby World Cup 2015 needed and was sorely lacking.
Yeah, right. All right, cheers, man, for everything else on all the sports games that Nath hates and likes. Keep coming back to IGN.